What do you make of a couple who decides to feck off to another country and get married without informing their family? Well, back in the day, it was called eloping. Some people still use that word. It was called eloping. And it's still as popular as ever, with couples choosing to ditch the whole family wedding and go off on their own. But our question to you is that a selfish thing to do? Well, the reason we're asking this is we received a WhatsApp about this on Friday during our programme. And this was a message from Vicky. And Vicky says, if you're talking about this, please don't mention my full name. So I didn't. I just called you Vicky. Me and my boyfriend are thinking of heading to Tenerife in August and to get married without telling anyone. It's our favourite place to go, and we couldn't be arsed with organising a wedding. It's a waste of money. But I think my mum will be very upset. Ask your listeners what they think. It's a very blasé sort of message. We're thinking of just shagging off and getting married. And we want to find out from you on 085 825 2626. And I want you to answer that simple question. Is it selfish of a couple to elope? Now, for those of you, it's a kind of an old-fashioned word.
It's never been replaced by another word.
No, it hasn't. No. So basically, run away to get married.
Shagging off.
You mentioned of knowing somebody who went and got married in Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
And that went down like a lead balloon.
Like a lead balloon. They went off, but everybody thought it was for a holiday. Went to Vegas. This was the year before last, just before COVID. We're going off for a holiday in Vegas. Yeah, we're going to gamble and do the shows and all that. And everybody thought nothing of it.
Have a nice holiday.
Have a nice holiday. Yeah, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened in Vegas did stay in Vegas because they got married. And then arrived home and told everybody, by the way, there's the ring. We're married. Sorry you couldn't be there, but you weren't invited. And it didn't bother me because I don't like going to weddings. Anyway, getting a wedding in.
But for others, it did bother them. Okay,
yeah.
So the question that we want to ask you, and I want you to send us a WhatsApp.
By the way, I think it's selfish, is your answer. Is that what the question you were asking me?
That is the question I'm asking you and asking everybody else.
Absolutely selfish.
Why?
Because, especially if you're an only child, because you're not even affording your parents that one chance to see you walking up the aisle. You're just basically thinking of yourself, and you're being a bit...
But aren't all weddings just thinking about yourself?
A bit scabby because you don't even pay them. Like, you can have a wedding on the cheap. I just don't understand why someone would want to get married with just the two of them.
One of the things that this COVID thing over the last year and a half has done to us is have a different appreciation of weddings. Some people have been delighted that they could only invite 6 people or 25 people to their wedding because they couldn't be arsed having more people. If a couple have a favourite place, like Vicky. So Vicky
Where's
has
her
a
favourite place?
Tenerife.
Oh, lovely.
Okay, they love Tenerife. I like Tenerife.
North or
myself.
south?
I don't know. She didn't say.
Okay.
In fact, her message was fairly abrupt.
No, it's very important if it's north or south.
I don't know. But anyway,
go on.
They want to go off and get married and just do it. What's the problem here?
If Vicky is an only child, as I said, and her father's around, he'll never get to walk her up the aisle. I just think it's selfish, isn't it? Isn't it though?
No, I don't think so. I think a couple can do what they want to do.
Why didn't you do it then?
We actually thought about it, believe it or not.
Didn't.
We actually did. We actually did, believe it or not. Because
and what, did your
families...
Did your ma warn you not to?
Nobody warned
Adrian,
anybody.
Don't you dare.
Families and weddings and conflict and blah-de-blah-de-blah. Yeah. We actually thought of doing it when we were on a particular holiday.
No,
we didn't.
Yeah. You were doing the wedding, you were doing the table plan, yeah, and you couldn't put A beside B.
Yep.
And B didn't want to be there anyway because B doesn't get on with A.
Yep.
And A doesn't like you.
Correct.
B doesn't like your wife.
Correct.
But A and B get on okay.
Yes.
And you just went...
That's like every bloody wedding.
And you just went, well, no, you had the table plan, you just went like this.
That's exactly what we did.
You know what,
That's exactly what we did.
Let's just shag off to Barbados and save ourselves 30 grand.
And we didn't do it, but we did think about it, yeah. And that's the word. That's not a word of a lie. We actually did think of just running away and getting married. But you're saying, had we done that, that would have been extremely selfish on all of our families.
I think so, because as I said, I think, especially for parents, yeah, I know my mother, she still talks about my wedding. She thinks it was better than my sister's wedding, actually, which is great. It's always great when she says that. Jeremy, your wedding was the best. It was the best. But I would hate to think that we denied my mother that right to have the wedding. Weddings?
Right, there's no rights in
There
weddings.
isn't rights. There's rights in
no
weddings.
rights in
There's
weddings.
rights. There's rights.
The
So
only
just
people
stop.
at a wedding that are important are the couple that are getting married.
Bullshit. So if that's the case, why would you even feed people at your wedding? Just let them sit there and watch it. You sitting up at the top table, beef Wellington. You're having nothing. You don't matter.
No,
of course it's about
no.
everybody. If it wasn't about everybody, why would you not get married in a kip of a hotel?
The fact of the matter, that's if you choose to get married in a hotel. If a couple,
Well, where else can you have your afters if you can't have it in a hotel?
anywhere, you can have it in a restaurant, you can do it wherever you want.
You know the point I'm making.
And in fact, during these COVID times, small weddings have been have really reinvented how we do weddings here in Ireland.
I'm talking about shagging off.
Okay, so Vicky is heading to Tenerife in August.
Yeah.
Great, Vicky. That's fantastic.
Very humid in August in Tenerife, by the way.
Doesn't matter. That's what she's doing, okay?
Yeah,
and the question that we want to ask you is it selfish to think about eloping or to actually elope? Send us a WhatsApp right now to 085 825 2626. 085 825 2626. Is it selfish of a couple to run away and get married? Let me read Vicky's fairly abrupt and blunt note to us on Friday. If you're talking about this, don't mention my full name. Me and my boyfriend are thinking of heading to Tenerife in August and get married without telling anyone. It's our favourite place to go, and we couldn't be arsed with organising a wedding. It's a waste of money, but I think my mam will be very upset. And that's from a lady called Vicky. And we'd love to hear from you. 085 825 2626 is our WhatsApp number. 085 825 2626. Just simply send us a yes or no to that question. Is it selfish of a couple to run away to get married?
Now, I don't expect any of you to say it's selfish because none of you have the balls that I have. I'm a man of balls, okay? And it's politically correct to say, oh no, it's a couple's day. You do what you want. It's up to you.
No, but I actually do believe it is a couple's day. I do.
No, you don't. You don't. You know, if your daughter eloped and got married without you, you'd be
fair play to her,
crying like a whinge bag. Anyway,
fair play to her. I'd be delighted for her.
I don't expect you, because you wouldn't have to pay for the wedding then. I don't expect you to be politically correct about this, but if you think about it logically, I'm telling you now as a father of two, if my kids, when they grow up, decided to feck off to another country and get married without me being there, I would be livid. Absolutely livid.
And livid in what way? Like,
that
put them out of your will?
Not that livid, but livid as in, how could you do this to me? How could you do... Okay, well, I wouldn't cry, okay? But I'd be like, how could you do this to me? My one child... I want to walk my... The nice thing about having a daughter, is being able to walk her up the aisle.
Okay, by the time your daughter is walking up the aisle...
it'll be Zimmer frame up the aisle.
No, it'll be so old-fashioned. It's such an old-fashioned thing. Anyway, once again, send us a WhatsApp, and the question that we're asking you is it selfish of a couple to decide to elope, to run away and get married? 085 825 2626. Sinead, welcome to Opinions Matter, Sinead.
Hi, Adrian. How's it going?
Good, thanks, Sinead.
Hi, Jeremy.
Hi, how are you?
Sinead, is it selfish?
Yes, say it is. Just go against the grain, Sinead. Say it is selfish.
I'm not sitting on the fence here. For me personally, I don't think so. I'd be happy not to get invited to a wedding. However, I think each to their own, but I agree with Jeremy that there will be family members that, may be really, really hurt that the couple has eloped and said nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for me, I wouldn't be bothered if a member of my family went off and did it. I just think fair play to you.
No, more than I would. And I know Jeremy is saying, if my daughter ran off to get married and...
By the way, she does it now. It's illegal. She's only 1.5. So she won't be doing it just yet.
My daughter I'm talking about.
Oh, your daughter?
Yeah. She could run off and get married to her boyfriend.
You would be devil.
I don't know if I'd be devil. I don't know if devil's the word.
Her mother would be devil.
I can't speak for her mother.
No,
but
I'm telling you her mother would be devil.
Yeah, but...
Not seeing your little girl in a white dress.
I'm sure she'll take photographs. I'll see the photographs.
Are you even a father?
No,
no.
Obviously, I'd like to be at my daughter's wedding, but if she was to tell me, Dad, look, we can't afford a big wedding, and myself and himself have decided to go off to wherever, Vegas or Tenerife or whatever, to get married, she would have my full support.
but none of your money.
Well, buy her a present.
You just don't want to pay for the wedding.
So Sinead, and that's the God's honest truth. If my daughter were to tell me, or my son for that matter, that they were going off to get married because they didn't want to have a big wedding, I genuinely, and I know you don't believe this, but I genuinely wouldn't have a problem with that.
But Sinead, you didn't. There was a lot of people you didn't tell when you got married. Is that correct?
No, yeah.
Oh.
Like we got married in 2019, well before COVID. And we got married on April Fool's Day. We said nothing. I have a very, very large extended family. So, I mean, it was either an all or nothing thing for us. And we were buying a house at the time. Plus, we weren't that fussed about the getting married. It was more about security for our son and all of that sort of stuff. So we, got married on April Fool's Day. The only people that knew were the 23 people invited, and 3 of those were children to the wedding. And like, obviously, our parents were there, our immediate family, our sisters were there, their husbands, nieces, and then a few close friends. And that was it.
So
we had a great day.
It was a small enough wedding.
Yeah, but it might be something for her to consider as an alternative, where we didn't have any of the
and like we said, over the last year with COVID and all of that, weddings have been basically reinvented, if you like, and people have gotten their head around. I talked to one couple who got married a couple of months ago when 25 were allowed at the wedding, and they secretly told me that it's the best thing that could have happened to them because they didn't want a big wedding and they were going to be inviting aunties and uncles that they haven't seen in years and all of that.
Other friends have said the same to us.
Yeah,
like they said, Jesus, we wish we'd done it the way you've done it.
But if a couple decide they want to get married, all you need is the bride and groom and 2 witnesses.
All you need is love.
Yeah.
Yep, all you need is love and a bride and groom and 2 witnesses.
But it's
I
just think it looks pathetic when you just see a couple there and nobody else. Imagine, like, you may kiss the bride and you kiss the bride and there's not even a clap.
Is that what you want then?
If that's what they want.
I want claps. Yeah, when I kissed the bride, the whole church erupted. It was like people do Mexican waves and all.
So what? It was an audience. You were performing.
I was performing. It was an audience. You'd like people. It's like people who go to the cinema on their own. I've never understood why you go to the cinema on your own, because you don't get to share the experience with somebody. There's nobody sitting beside you where you can go, Jesus, what did you think of that? Did you understand what happened there? You're sitting on.
Sorry, would you not even watch a movie at home on your own?
Yeah, that's kind of different, but I wouldn't go to the cinema.
How is it different?
My point is, we are social animals. We're a social beast.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're a social beast. We're a social animal.
Yeah.
We like people around, and just to get married with nobody around, no.
All right, send us a WhatsApp right now to 085 825 2626. This is the issue that Vicky contacted us about, and I want to read her message again, and here's what she says. Me and my boyfriend are thinking of heading to Tenerife in August and get married without telling anyone. It's our favourite place to go, and we couldn't be arsed with organising a wedding. It's a waste of money, but I think my mum will be very upset. Ask your listeners what they think. And as I said, it's a very blunt message, Vicky. We're going and that's it. We're off.
Well, she's obviously a blunt person because she doesn't even want to send out wedding invites. That's how blunt she is. Vicky couldn't give a toss about her family.
But by the way, why does that all matter?
By the way, Vicky,
because like I said, and this is the important part about this.
Yeah.
The most important people at the wedding
are the guests.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are. They are. You don't want to be known as the couple who had the crap wedding. I would hate someone.
Yeah, but if you go away,
people have said that about your wedding.
If they actually have, nobody did.
They told
said
me
nobody
went to Adrian's wedding. It was crap.
No, nobody said that. No,
but why? If guests don't matter, yeah. Why do we go to the hassle of getting the little invite so perfect? Why do we go to the hassle of making sure that there's a
Not everybody does that.
You do. That you make sure that you have a sorbet after the soup. Why do you make sure that the band is the right kind of band? Because you want to please the guests.
Okay, send us a WhatsApp right now to 085 825 2626. 085 825 2626. Is it selfish of couples to elope?
What was the main course at your wedding, by the way, Adrian? What was it, chicken tenders?
I can't remember. Kevin sent us this.
Hi, Adrian and Jeremy. It's Kev here. Look, this is what I'm going to say, and I'm sure a lot of people think the same. Anybody who's going off to get married, elope to get married, are doing everyone they know a huge favour. They don't realise, right? Now, the way around the family issue is that you keep the parents within the secret. You say, look, we're getting married. We're going to such and such. Keep it QT. You join us in a couple of days and we'll do it together and we'll have a get together with the family when we come back. What's the problem with that? Now, Jeremy, I know for a fact, because it was one of the it was the first ever conversation I had with the two of you guys in '98, was about how rude it is to invite people just to the afters. Because you still have to bring a presents, you still have to get dolled up, you could be dragged to the middle of nowhere, have to stay over. Would you sooner a couple go and elope or put you through that God forbidden process of being invited to the afters?
Well, I don't do the afters, Kevin. I don't do the afters.
Right, you're all in favour of people not eloping, but I guarantee you'd sooner they elope than put you through that stress. Anyway, have a good one, lads.
All right, Kev, thanks very much indeed. And he's right. You don't like being invited to weddings.
But Jeremy doesn't do afters. Jeremy doesn't do afters. And I certainly, if I am doing afters, I wouldn't be buying presents. I'd give someone I'd give someone, you know what I'd give someone if I was invited to the afters? What? A gnome.
A gnome?
Yeah, a gnome.
That's a garden gnome.
But what other type of gnome is there?
You would give somebody who invited you to the afters of their wedding a gnome.
Well, I probably wouldn't go, but if I did go at a push, I would buy...
So you'd arrive with a little gnome under your arm?
I'd go to Woody's or Home Store and More, and I'd buy the crappiest gnome, and because I hate gnomes. Although I hate gnomes.
And you'd give that as a gift at the wedding?
But anyway, Jeremy doesn't do... evening invites.
No, but the point is, you don't like going to weddings anyway.
No,
sure you
no.
don't.
I'd rather get a court summons than a wedding invite. Okay,
so would it not suit you then for friends or family or whatever to text you? By the way, Jeremy, we got married last week.
I'm talking about family. Family are different.
085 825 2626. Is it selfish of a couple to elope or to want to elope or to think about eloping? Emma, welcome to Opinions Matter.
Hi guys, how are you?
Hi Emma, how are you? Good, thanks.
Emma, how would you feel if I got you a gnome for your wedding present?
I hate weddings as well, so I'd probably accept it.
I tell you what I'm saying, it's an in-house joke I have because my wife is addicted to garden gnomes.
Really?
Oh my God, if you go within 5 miles of our house, you'll see the gnomes. All she does is buy gnome after gnome after gnome, and I don't have the heart to tell her that I hate them.
So is your place riddled with gnomes?
Riddled with gnomes, and oh my God!
Anyway,
they serve no purpose, by the way. Gnomes are useless.
We'll come back to that conversation in a minute. But Emma, is it selfish of a couple to elope?
No, absolutely not.
There you go.
No.
There you go.
I have a daughter and I have 3 boys, and if they went off and came back and said they got married, I would have no problem with it.
No, you failed as a parent if your kids elope, Emma. I'm sorry, you failed.
I've well failed as a parent anyway.
Yeah,
but no, the expense of a wedding, I think, is absolutely madness.
Okay, but let me turn this on its head, Jeremy. You're saying, you want let's say your daughter, you want the right to walk her up the aisle and all of that,
walk her up the aisle, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, what if she just never gets married?
Yeah, that's her choice if she never gets
married.
Well, then
what's the difference?
But if she does get married, I bloody want to be there. Thanks very much. Would you not be hurt, Emma? Honestly,
no, genuinely would not be hurt. I have told my kids, if you ever want to elope, you have my permission.
And I totally agree. My kids are at the age now that one of them could get married over the next couple of years. Yeah. If
Adrian terrified
terrified
about getting the text, Daddy, can you help?
The point I'm making is if either of them were to say to me, Dad, we're planning to get married in wherever, on our own, with just 2 friends, do you mind? I would genuinely and honestly say, no, I don't mind at all. You do what you want to do. It's your day.
No, I'd have no problem. And I've told my children, if they want to do it, go for it.
Lads, you even love your children.
Yes.
Do you?
And it is for that reason that I would say...
Yeah, if you love your children, you would put aside your own selfishness.
Correct, exactly.
Costing them a fortune. So
you saying,
for a wedding.
I demand to be at your wedding is selfish.
Yeah, that's selfish.
Because you're making the wedding about you and not about your child.
Yeah, see, there's very little...
Exactly.
Yeah, there's very little that you have to look forward to when your kids grow up because, but the one thing you do have to look forward to is celebrating their big day with them.
You can still celebrate the big day.
I presume your kids made their communion and confirmation, did they, Emma?
They did, yeah.
Why'd you bother going to that? You should have got them to elope to make their communion. Like,
I think there was laws against letting them go on their own.
Exactly.
No, but my point is, Emma, I'm sure you have lovely photographs of your kids standing up there on the altar making their communion and all that.
Well, I'm actually a photographer, so I mean, I would be missing out big time, but that is their choice.
And that's what this comes down to.
It costs too much money for them, I think, get married. It's madness.
Okay, let me put it. Here's a conversation, right?
It's not about no.
Would you prefer your daughter to spend 30 grand? Hang on for one second.
She's only buying. The only thing she's buying at the moment is Peppa Pigs.
Okay,
Like,
if in the future, would you prefer her to spend money on a deposit for a house, or waste that 30 grand on a wedding?
You see, lads, that's a different conversation. Well,
it's not really.
Whether or not weddings are a waste of money.
This couple, Vicky and her partner, can go to Tenerife and get married for a shag off.
Lineker's bar.
I don't care where she's getting married. Even if she does, that's her own business.
Yeah.
So the point, and this is Emma's agreeing with me on this. If we turn this conversation, it's you that's being selfish by saying, "I demand my child get married."
I demand. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, if you demand it, would you pay for the whole thing?
No is the answer.
You see.
Yeah, but I assume you don't want to pay for your kids' weddings either, do you?
No, but I'm not demanding to be there.
She's quite happy for them to go off and get married, just like I am.
And I don't understand that, Emma.
And by the way, this is also an issue as well for a lot of young people today who may be from blended families, who may have, like, for example, I'm divorced from my kid's mother. And have been for a number of years.
What has that got to do with your
because then
daughter's wedding?
You've ex-wives and new wives and ex-husbands all going to the wedding, and the kids don't want all that shite.
Kids don't want...
Exactly, yeah.
So, Adrian, you've reached a new low, Adrian. Now, let me just get this straight. Emma, you're a witness to this. Adrian is using his divorce as an excuse of getting out of his daughter's wedding.
No.
You literally...
I'm not.
You are
I'm trying to explain how for a lot of young people, they are from blended families, and they don't want ex-wives and new wives and new husbands and all that at weddings. It's just...
And tension.
And tension. Think of it. It's a nightmare.
Well, I don't know. Is an ex-wife and an ex-husband going to punch up at the wedding?
No, but there's going to be... They're sitting over there and they're sitting over there. Actually, Laura, will you please go away and get married?
For the bride and the groom.
Yeah, exactly. Great to talk to you, Emma. Thanks very much indeed.
Great. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye. There's Emma, who doesn't love her kids. Hates her kids. Hates them. Little shites, aren't
she
they, Emma?
She didn't say that. She never said it. 085 825 2626. Is it selfish of couples to go away to get married, to elope? And I have to tell you, it would strike me that you are in a minority here. There aren't many agreeing with you.
John says parents normally take the brunt of the costs anyway, so they're probably doing them a massive favour. John, I think those days... I hope those days are actually gone.
No, they're not.
I don't know of any of my friends who got handouts from the parents to get married. We certainly didn't. We did it all on our own.
Yeah.
Parents don't pay for weddings anymore, do they?
No, some do, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
No, that's a country thing, isn't it?
No.
What's that thing called?
A dowry.
A dowry. And marrying a woman because her father owns 50 sheep. Those days we're past that now.
As I said, I think you are alone here. Let's have a listen to, let's bring in Leonard on this conversation.
Hey, Leonard.
Hi guys, Leonard here. Jeremy, I totally agree with you 100%. If I'm not good for the beginning, there's no way I'm going to the afters. Cheers guys, bye.
Does anybody have afters at weddings anymore? When I got married the first time, which was back in the 90s, it was the done thing. You had...
Evening invites.
You maybe had 50 or 60 people for the dinner, and then you invited another 50 or 60 for the evening. Meant you didn't have to feed them, which is great. It's not...
A couple of sambos.
It doesn't seem... a couple of sambos.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to be a thing anymore, is it?
Oh, no, it is. I've got a couple in the last few years. I got a couple of evening invites from people... in fact, people that we worked with, Adrian, that we didn't know that well. And I'm like... You're only inviting me because you want a few bob out of me. You want 50 quid in a card.
And did you just not go?
No, I didn't go. But I will not go to an evening invite. Not a chance. And if I do, if I'm forced to go, I'll bring the gnome. I'll go with the gnome.